Okay, this is Unit 304, Activity number 23. It says we can communicate in appropriate and inappropriate ways. So that's, we can positively or negatively. What are the examples of some of these? You can respond to the answers for any situation. IG an interview. If you think in terms of examples from the workplace, you'd get a better answer. All right. So think in terms of things you do, ways you communicate in the workplace as opposed to communicating with your friends or family, because that will be totally different. What this one's, there's two sections here. Appropriate communication. These are things you should do. Inappropriate communications, things you should not do. So you're showing that you know what you should do and what you should not do in these situations. Now, first of all, this says verbal communication. If you think in terms of when you're on the phone to someone, think of two things that you should do, one, and just write one in each box. And think of two things you should not do when you're talking to someone on the phone. Write one thing in here and one thing in here. I've put some pictures to give you some clues, but in your own words, two things that you should do, two things you shouldn't do when you're talking to someone on the phone. Think in terms of talking to a customer, what you would or would not do. Then a bit further down, this is non-verbal communication. So this is body language. This is, you can say a lot to someone without saying a word, just by your body language. Okay. And again, we want two things, positive forms of body language. So two things that you should do when you're communicating with someone body language wise. I've given you a couple of examples here, but I want you to think of your own examples. And then in here, scroll down a little bit, two things that you shouldn't do when you with your body. And when you're trying to communicate with someone, imagine you're a shop assistant in a shop. So two forms of positive body language, two forms of negative body language. And that's it for that section.